focusing on who your ideal customer is, marketing to that ideal customer, and figuring out how to weed out the other customers that you can sense that may waste your time and make their decision based on price and not value.
Do you want a pretty website or you want one that works?
The best time to blow out marketing when you're at the busiest time.
Is that a fax machine, in fact, that I hear in the background?
It is, dude. No, it's printing. Printing Roofr reports.
Dude, what a perfect segue. I mean, shout out to the team at Roofr. They help make this show possible, so if you need instant roof measurements, clean and pristine proposals, hit up the folks at Roofr. They're great, I promise you. I put my name on it. Click the link below. You'll see it. You won't regret it, I promise. I mean, Eric does it.
I do all day, every day. I do a little different, and I was just with the Roofr crew at the Rise show here in Carlsbad yesterday. Let me put my phones on silent. But dude, they were pretty impressed because what I do is first of all, the weather's always pretty dang crispy clear out here, so I'm able to do a lot of DIY measurements because it's not all gray, not a lot of trees because we're kind of a desert climate zone. Most all of our trees are basically imported. If you went back to 200-year ago pictures of San Diego, it would just be cactus, chaparral, dirt, and rocks, you know.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of DIY measurements where I either by the credits do the DIY. I take my drone out, upload my own image. But what I do is I bring a 6 foot 1 inch by 3 inch piece of lumber that I spray painted tennis ball yellow, and then I lay that on the roof. So when I do my drone photo, it asks you to scale something right away so that you can do your measurements. And I used to lay out a tape measure and I'd set it at like 10 feet, and it would be kind of challenging sometimes to zoom in on it. And so now with this 1x3 painted yellow, I can scale super easy and quick from it. So I carry a giant tennis ball 6 foot piece of lumber in the back of my truck at all times. And I was showing the Roofr guys yesterday, hey, you want to see my stick? And so I was showing everybody, and they were really into it.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, I love the I guess the situational awareness to where you can innovate, right, and make something that's good great.
Yep.
Yeah, good for you. Let me ask you a question. You seem like a smart guy. Where would a fruit go to vacation?
Where would a fruit go to vacation? Definitely not Venus flytrap. I have no idea.
Paris.
Oh, there you go. Very good dad joke.
There's a laugh track. You can't really hear it. It's all good. So, welcome. What's that?
Do you follow those two guys that like sit side by side? Dude, they're so good. They're so good.
They're fucking hilarious. It's a good stuff.
Yeah.
I sent them to my daughter. She didn't find it nearly as amusing. I was like, I don't know how you don't see this. That this is hilarious, right?
Well, it's the puns that are funs, you know.
The puns that are funs. Big pun guy right here. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Hopefully someday I can make it out to San Diego. I've been to LA. It smelled like rain.
But you said it rained like the whole freaking time you were here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you need to schedule a redo.
I'm going to Vegas soon. Maybe I'll just take a ride over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it like 4 hours, something like that?
To LA, probably like 4. To San Diego, probably like 5.
Oof. 5 hours. God.
I mean, you can rent the Tesla Plaid and do it in 3.
Those things are fast, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching Joe Rogan a while back, and he had Elon on, and they were talking about the acceleration. I was like, good God, that is.
Yeah,
that's
it's
quick.
like instant and violent. Like, I don't know if you've ever done boost control in a carbureted vehicle. It's even more violent than boost control.
Yeah, I haven't, so I have no point of reference. But I mean, it sounds fun.
Yeah, my first time experiencing it was in my friend's Nissan Skyline, right? and it was like stage 5, just ridiculous. And we're sitting at the light, and all of a sudden it turns green, and the RPMs just start going through the roof. I'm like, what the hell? This isn't a stick shift. Does he have his foot on the clutch? And as I'm looking over at it, the boost control set at a certain RPM. So as soon as it hits that, the limited slip clutch just totally releases and rocket ships you out, right? And so I'm like kind of halfway out of my seat looking over. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, there's no clutch. And then boom, I just get thrown to my seat like it was a freaking roller coaster.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've never experienced that. The closest thing to that so it's been like 10 years since it's been operational, but I have a 93 RX-7.
Yep.
And it'll throw you back a little bit.
Dude,
not
the
in
rotary,
the same way, but yeah.
Rotary motors are epic, man.
Yeah.
We were taking a lot of those motors out and putting them in dune buggies because of the lightweight rear motor, situation on it. It was pretty awesome.
I want to drive a dune buggy.
Oh, dude, now they're like LS1 and LS2, like ridiculous, like aluminum blocks. You'll see a dune buggy that it has so much horsepower, it just does wheelies through the desert, and then it has suspension. It has suspension so crazy that you're hitting like whoops that are like the size of Volkswagens, and you can like go through them sipping coffee and not even spill a drop. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
We should probably do intros now. I'm Mike Stearns. I'm the host of the Mission Control podcast, brought to you by Ascend Digital Agency and Roofr. And today we have Eric Richardson. Say hi, Eric.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
And gals.
So Eric loves roofing. He loves surfing, and he loves doing his own SEO.
Yeah.
These are some things that I know about Eric that he holds near and dear to his heart. So I want to talk more about some of the things you've done as far as innovation. And I'm not going to straitjacket you here, but things that you've done within your company, innovation-wise, that have lent to your success. Let's hear it.
Innovation to lead to success. I would say being able to differentiate myself and absolutely understand the concept that I'm not selling freaking shingles. So many people think that they're selling shingles when the guy next to me sells the same white shingle with the same amount of nails, the same size nails, works the same amount of days, puts the ladder in the same spot, climbs the same roof. Hell, in some parts of the country, they're even using the same labor. And so it's really educating customers that they're buying value, and I'm here to show them how that is perceived when it's they're really buying an experience. If there's no difference in between anybody, it's providing a service experience to that customer and creating that value exchange between my company and the homeowner as really that ever since really figuring it out and then kind of presenting and doing it that way has absolutely skyrocketed, the business in sense.
I got a lot of questions. So first one or two that come to your mind, the ways that you've gone about illustrating that value exchange or starting the value exchange and illustrating that value to the customer of working with your company. What does that look like?
I like to use a lot of analogies. And so you guys have Walmarts outside of California? Okay. Do you have Nordstrom's outside of California?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So Nordstrom sells a plain white t-shirt, 100% cotton. Walmart sells a plain white t-shirt that's 100% cotton, right? There's no difference between the t-shirts. But there is, I promise you, a reason why somebody chooses to go and buy that same exact white t-shirt at Nordstrom's. And it's so that they don't have to experience that Walmart experience, right? You go to Walmart, you feel like you have to go to a biohazard decontamination center just to de-cleanse that shit off of you, and it really they're not even cutting into each other's market share. They both have different buyers, and so it's really focusing on who your ideal customer is, marketing to that ideal customer, and figuring out how to weed out the other customers that you can sense that may waste your time and make their decision based on price and not value. And so it's really having those granular conversations, kind of subliminally, and straightforward with the customers. Like, look at, we're kind of the Nordstroms of the industry. If you're looking for that Walmart price, we're probably not going to be a good fit. I probably say no to more customers than they say no to me, and it's strategic. Um, the reason that the person goes to Nordstrom's is so they didn't have to go past a McDonald's, right? They have a Nordstrom's cafe that actually serves healthy food. He goes there because they give you free lemon and cucumber water. He goes there because there's actually a real dude tickling the ivories and not some crappy speakers, blooming down some music from the sky. And so all of these little things, valet parking, right? All of these little tidbits, that value that they're exchanging for that higher price item, it's there for a purpose, and there is clientele that choose that, and that's basically kind of how we go about it.
I like it. I mean, we do something similar because you get a website for $1,000, for $5,000, for $30,000. I would say there's probably more, I think, functional difference between the two than in the situation that you presented, but it's in the similar vein, and like experience is super important. I can go to a really good steakhouse, and if it takes me, if we have a reservation and it takes 20 minutes to get seated after our reservation time, and they don't come over for 20 minutes and ask us what we want as far as what to drink, and they don't take our app order, like they're not situationally aware that now we're 40 minutes in, so they don't ask us if we're ready to order something for apps because we're starving, right? I don't care how good the food is, there's a good chance I'm not going to come back, right? Like experience is oftentimes, I think, overlooked by business owners of all sorts, like how important that is, not only for like that customer and their experience, but for their willingness to go out of their way to be brand ambassadors and talk about how great your company is. Yeah.
And all that experience, really, without giving a lot of trade secrets and golden nuggets away.
Spill it.
It's really about how you've set up the process. It's all the touches and how you're actually touching. A punch to the arm is considered a touch, but a nice caress is also considered a touch, right? And so it's how those touches are actually performed. The automations, the systems and processes, it's the photo drops, the album sharing, what we call Roofr cam is nanny cam, because you get a bathroom remodel and you can actually look over that dude's shoulder and see how he's grouting, or how thick he set those grout lines, or the diamond pattern, how did he square it off, did he do it 3 4 5 and come out from the wall at a certain diagonal. But when it comes to roofing and solar, you really you can't see that process, and so we like to give them that process. God, this phone is going nuts. Good old Google,
It's a good point, right? Like sharing the experience of what's happening on something that's, less tangible, because like you don't get to see, like you said, the process. You get to see the end result. You get home and you got an Onyx roof, or you got panels up on your roof. It's like, okay, it's there. But I think there is something to be said about like the assurance of being a part of the process while it's happening. Side note, people actually work better when you're hovering over them. If you So if someone's doing grout in your fucking bathroom, make sure that you hover and you ask as many questions as possible. All right?
That's right. And he'll get done quicker, I promise.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. We kind of take the same approach with SEO. It's not as tangible. There's not, like, people don't necessarily know what to expect. So we try to be as transparent as far as deliverables. This is what to expect. This is an estimated timeline. But I'm interested in talking to you about what you've done for your company for SEO and what type of impact it's had.
Well, I kind of got in pretty early. I think built my site in 2014. It screams 2014, so it doesn't have all the newer bells and whistles. But if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of type deal, because it's driving traffic. So I do have age of domain in my pocket, right? So now with, I mean, let alone, like, here's a little secret that there's a reason why when you go and search something, um, Phillips head screwdriver, right? There's a reason why Home Depot dominates that whole top half of Google is because of their website robustness, their strength, right? I mean, they probably have 500,000 freaking pages on their website, and how they're all interlinked together and backlinked and everything. So if a contractor does 300 jobs a year, he should be creating 300 job portfolios. Within those portfolios, those are local SEO pages, right? Now, on those local SEO pages, you want no less than 3,000 words. And on that La Jolla roof replacement, you can't go and talk about La Jolla roof repair. So it's like that, SEO is like baking versus grilling, right? It's harder to fuck up grilling a steak than to bake a cake, because the amount of ingredients that go into it and the size of those ingredients, right? Like, you mess up on a quarter tablespoon of salt by just a fraction, it's kind of destroys the whole situation, right? So SEO is really more scientific as kind of like baking than grilling a hamburger, right? It's way more ingredients that go into it, and each one of those ingredients that go into it help the other ingredients into it. And if you're not building it as a whole like that, then it's really hard to achieve what you want to achieve from it. And so it's just keep layering on that cake. You know what I mean? Like, if you did 300 jobs last year, you should break that job into a content about a repair in La Jolla, replacement in La Jolla, inspection in La Jolla, right? Like, all of these, that one freaking job can build you 4 more pages. And so you do 300 jobs, dude, there's no reason your website shouldn't have 1,200 more pages at the end of that year that are just boosting,
I love it. I'm going to play devil's advocate. All right? So, when we build a website, I've learned, I love my contractors. I just want to preface this with that. I've learned I want to take as much out of your hands as possible. Because if I don't, you don't do it, and then you blame me. Hypothetically, of course. So let's say we're building a website, and we've got 40, 50, 60, 70 pages at the initial launch, right? We create a Google folder tree drive, and we pretty much build the sitemap out the same way you'd see on the nav bar. And then in residential roofing, it's going to have all your services, and we're going to make it impossible for you not to give us quality photos, so you don't have some douchebag with a hard hat like a mallet hammer standing up on a ladder with one oddly small forearm, as compared to the other one. Because then I get fucking roasted by Dimitri or something. It's like, dude, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I did everything I could to provide a streamlined process to make sure this didn't happen.
Yeah.
So for those folks that are listening, and you're talking about the importance of the opportunity that would be presented by being proactive and doing, let's say implementing your strategy, how do you find the time?
Well, there really is no more time shaken at it. I don't even have to put blogs on my website to help boost it. Like, it's just built so well back in 2014 that I'm getting too much call volume for my hiring process right now. So I don't even need to shake a stick at it. And so I'm struggling just to keep, like, right now we have, I think, 57 jobs in the hopper booking us out till December. So, I mean, is it really going to benefit me to go and throw some blogs on right now to get more call volume? That's probably going to be like, oh, I can't wait that long. So it's building out as you build. Just like when you build a website, right? You got your layers, right? You got your coding on the back end, you got your pretty stuff on the front end, and you're merging the human talk with the robot talk, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with business, right? I've got to merge my production and grow that at the same time that I grow my marketing. Because if one goes too fast or the other goes too fast, you're now in this unbalanced situation where you're either going to lose employees or you're going to lose customers.
Yep.
And so it's finding that harmony, and I'm constantly trying to build to catch up with that lead volume. And that's the way I'd rather have it. I would much rather have to try to have my back against the wall and grow the systems, processes, and business operations, rather than have my back against the wall. I'm like, oh God, we don't have any work. We better hurry up and blow out some marketing, right?
Yeah.
Because the best time to blow out marketing is when you're at the busiest time, so that it has time to rank and go through the washing machine for if there is a slow time down the future.
Shout out to River if you're watching this. Listen to what Eric just said. That's my guy. Okay, so for context, what does your business do approximately annually? If you don't mind sharing. If you don't want to share, that's fine too.
Well, which one? The solar company or the roofing company? So I have two actual companies.
Let's say both.
Okay,
Yeah.
the roofing company is probably on track 4.5 to 5,
Okay.
with three sales guys.
Got it. Now, are you still consistently building micro pages of content within these specific areas that you're doing the work in?
I'm always building them. I'm not always indexing them or launching them, right?
Okay.
So I'm constantly building my filing cabinet with them so that they're ready to go, based off of the relative, the photos, all my meta tag photos from that job that just happened. So I'm layering and building all those as they're happening for when I need to launch them, or if I go and just kind of do some incognito searching. Roofing contractor in San Marcos, California. Oh shit, I'm slot 7 on that zone, right? So then I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's throw a couple of those, and then I'll go through my folder and see, oh, I've got 7 jobs in San Marcos, and then I'll start throwing some local pages up there so that I can rank in every single suburb, not just San Diego.
Yeah, that's smart. I got a question. You
Yeah.
talked about the front end, nice and pretty, and the back end, the robot. All
Yep.
right. I mean, I've heard, pick what you want. Do you want a pretty website or do you want one that works? Are these two things mutually exclusive?
Why not have both?
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
it you really should focus on both. But if I was only allowed an option of one, I would want one that ranks and gets the revenue going.
Yeah. Yeah. I take issue. I'll do this publicly. I take issue with people spreading fallacies that you can't have both, because you can have both, right?
100%.
And I'll also give my loyal listeners some tidbits here as far as like why you see people talking about they got a new website and it fucking sucks. It lost all our organic traffic. One, like the most obvious one would be like their domain was held captive and they no longer have their domain. They're using a new domain. Now you reset. That sucks. Two, a lot of the times it's going to be redirects, right? So if you were to move your office tomorrow, right, and you had people that mailed you checks for jobs and you had $300,000 in accounts receivable, you'd probably let them fucking know that you moved, right? You got to do the same thing with Google. If you're moving the information, like your URLs, so your sitemap, the collection of URLs of, residential roofing, roof repair, roof replacement, they might be changed by the new company. And if they are changed, you need to do a redirect to let Google know, hey, our address changed. Otherwise, it goes to a 404 page and Google fucking hates you.
Yep.
Okay? So it's just 2 quick tips. That's fine.
And all the citations. You go and change any of that content, you got to go back and change every freaking citation so that they all match. Because Google.
We can't give it all away. We're going to fucking protect your trade secrets, but you're going to give away mine? What a dick. Oh, that's good shit. That is good shit. Yeah. So, do what Eric's doing, all right? Don't pay us. Go do what Eric's doing. He'll train you. He's got a course. Link in the comments.
Dude, no way. Like, if you're already in the trenches doing it, you got to kind of outsource that. I, at that time, had a lot more free time to learn it. Like, where I kind of learned a lot of it was I had a friend who started a franchise called Bumper Doc. Now they're like, I don't know, almost in all states, right? It's dentless car repair, right? A dentless car and bumper repair using this kind of trade secret that they had, right? Well, he would pay to go to these crazy freaking masterminds to learn SEO and digital marketing back in like 2008. You know what I mean? And I mean, before TikTok and Reels and all, anybody that wants to just do a video of themselves, hey, I'm now a digital marketer, right?
I'm an influencer.
Right. So, I mean, the influencers back in 2008 were actually real influencers. They weren't self-proclaimed. And he would pay some pretty high mastermind dollars to go and learn these, right? Well, I went to him. I was like, hey, I see you invested a bunch of money to go to that. Well, how about this? I've got an idea for you to recoup some of your investment. Now you can take what you learned. I'll pay you to regurgitate that to me on the things that you learned. And a friend of mine, Kevin, we kind of went all in and learned it, and then just started doing it.
Good for you. Good for you, because it's domain authority, like when you have age behind your domain, really helps. Conversely, if you launch, a website on a domain you bought yesterday, it's going to take a minute. Google likes to
But even
sandbox it a little bit.
Yeah, and some of these rebranding where their rankings all of a sudden were here and then they're plummeting, right? Like why anybody would actually just go and pull the plug on this website and then build it, like while you're thinking about rebranding, keep that website up, start building it. You know what I mean? Like start building before you can copy and a lot of your content and a lot of your stuff and transfer it and still keep this website live as you're building this website.
Yeah.
Like there's little tricks and secrets that you can do on how to rename and do everything while you're doing it and test it. You know what I mean? To see before you go and pull the plug on this. You're not like it's just so much of a gamble risk to do it that way.
Yeah, and I was just talking to a client right before this meeting. We wrapped up, and we were talking about the website stuff, and it's like, how far down the rabbit hole do I want to go here? Indecision. I'm usually not indecisive, but this could be a slippery slope. Yeah. Never mind. It's fine. Yeah. It's if you work with somebody you can trust, and I don't care who it is. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Tim. It doesn't. I don't care. But find somebody you can trust to do it the right way when you do it. And you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Because some people, it's not malicious; they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. Here's another tip that you can use when you're considering rebuilding a site. Get access to analytics. Hopefully, whoever's your provider is now actually will share access with you and give you access when you leave. If not, when you hire the next marketing company, make sure that you own your data. Get access to what pages are performing well. And that way, there might be 2 pages that are driving 90% of your traffic, and then maybe that's something your next marketing agency takes into consideration when they're building a site, and they leave well enough alone, right? Maybe they don't restructure things. Maybe they don't change the on-page content so that you don't run any risk necessarily. You mitigate the risk of, a potential negative consequence when relaunching the site.
Yeah.
So, dude, this is good. Good. Talk to me about surfing. I'm fucking terrified of the ocean. I don't know. I went on a cruise. It was okay, but there's sharks, and then I watched something about what's deep in the ocean. I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. I mean, there's some crazy shit in there.
There's a rabbit hole for everything, right? So it depends on what rabbit hole you want to go down. Sharks are really not interested in us. If they took a bite, they're gonna realize that we're not as juicy and fatty as a seal. They're gonna get right into bone, and they're probably not gonna take a second bite. Most shark bites don't end up in death, very, very rarely, and the chances of getting bit by a shark are like getting struck by lightning chances. It's Like if you're afraid of not going in the ocean because of sharks, then we could also say I'm now afraid to drive on a freeway because of car accidents. You know what I mean? And there's far more car accidents than there are shark bites. But you can minimize your risk if you believe in karma. Like I will never order shark at a restaurant because if I go and eat shark, chances are shark will eat me.
Yeah,
But
I follow your line of logic. That makes sense.
yeah. So I mean, there's a really, really, really cool clip. If you Google Mick Fanning shark attack down at J Bay in South Africa, it was in the middle of a contest, so it was really, really photoed. But like he reacted, right? The shark came, bit his board, and he was able to kind of like scramble from the shark and not get attacked, right? Once the shark was like, oh god, styrofoam, that doesn't taste very good. I don't think I want any of that, right? It's like I've seen sharks with surfing. Down in Cabo, I saw a couple bull sharks, and they're pretty freaking gnarly man eaters.
Yeah.
Seen a couple tiger sharks out in Hawaii, but a lot of times they're so docile. You just kind of see them just slowly cruising. A way a shark has to attack, and normally they attack, is shooting up at you, like from the ground, right? And a lot of times where you're surfing is 8 to 6 feet deep. So they really don't have the ability to leverage that attack. You know what I mean? Most attacks are in deeper water. So they can be in the darker depths and come up and sneak attack on that attack. A lot of our attacks here in Southern California, up near San Francisco, we call it the Blood Triangle, where all the great whites kind of live, right? So there's this area up in the Bay Area where it's a perfect temperature of nice cold 48 to 55 degree water that they really thrive in. When the mothers go to birth great white pups, they come down to the warmer waters off of Cabo, or not Cabo, but off of like Baja, right? And then they slowly, as they nurse their pups going back north, they swim through Southern California, going back up to Northern California. So a lot of the bites that happen down here where I live are more of a territorial protection type of bite. And it's more like a bark. Like they're not gonna frickin' gobble you up and just like eat you like a chicken wing. You know what I mean?
I'm from Buffalo, so chicken wings hold a very special place in my heart. And I'm fucking hungry, so thanks for that. So what I pulled out of that is like the odds are like getting struck by lightning, and they're not gonna kill you. They're just gonna take half your fucking leg. So no big deal.
You'll live.
You'll be fine.
You'll get some badass fucking sympathy votes, dude, if you go to the bar with one leg and like, oh my god, I saw you on the news. You're that dude that survived the shark attack.
And I mean, the prosthetics these days, I mean, it might as well be a damn real leg.
Right.
So, yeah, you don't got much to lose. So hop in the ocean and try
right.
your luck. You know what? Do it for both of us, because I ain't fucking doing it.
It's the passion of it, dude. If you really love something, it's like, look at, dude, I love surfing so much that when people go on their first date, it's almost like a sales presentation, right? How many relationships have you analyzed where they say, oh, you've changed. You're not the person I met 6 months ago, right? Well, chances are they were on their absolute best impression, and it probably wasn't even their real impression. It was a sales presentation on how to impress somebody, right? Well, I've never been that way. Like every first date, I would be like, listen, I wanna be 100% honest with you that I will be late to my own wedding if there's surf that day. I don't play soccer. If I went and played soccer, that soccer court's gonna be there, field's gonna be there every day. It doesn't have a season to it. You know what I mean? So like the waves aren't there all the time. And if there's waves on my wedding day, I'm gonna promise you I'm gonna be probably late. I'm probably gonna have nasal drain, because we get nasal drain when you're in the ocean for a long time. You kind of absorb a lot of water, and they go through your orifices as you're getting pounded by the waves, right? So if you're ever just sitting there talking to somebody, all of a sudden water starts pouring out of their nose, the chances are that they're a surfer, and that's called nasal drain. But it's the passion for surfing, right, that led me to kind of set up my relationship, set up my business, set up my way of life around that, so that I promise I'm stopping and smelling all the roses on the way down the road. And that's just how I want to live my life, because I know that life's short, and everybody at the end of it has massive regrets. And I never want to be in that situation.
I mean, I love it. And I love the idea of surfing. I'm just a coward. So you heard it here first, folks. I'm a coward. Where did the love for surfing begin?
That independence, that freedom, that absolutely disconnecting. I remember when I was a kid, there was a one time I can trace it back to where I really found independence. Was I'm so old that there used to have these plastic big wheels, right? Everybody used to want the green machine because it had like the caster breaker on it. But I remember at one time riding my big wheel down the driveway, down the street, and then looking over my shoulder as I went around the corner and watched my parents disappear from view. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, yeah, you know what I mean? And I will never forget that feeling of like, all right, now it's me in the world, and just that breathe, just the air in my face, my hair pulled back, and just that absolute freedom. That's why I ride Harleys. That's why I ride dirt bikes. That's why I surf. It's that freedom of you, and it's not a team sport. It's you against you, harnessing Mother Nature. And I didn't have to rely on somebody to help me through for a W. It really put it all onto me. And I used to do competitive surfing way back in the day, not at a very, very entry level. But it was just getting out on the water, and all of a sudden you're sitting on your board and you're floating, right? And everywhere else where you drive or bike or run or in your city, in your car, you see infrastructure, right? And so as you're sitting on your board, just bobbing out in the water, you're staring off into the horizon, and the horizon, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. You turn around and there's, the beach and the city and stuff, but it was just that absolute disconnect and unplugging. I would say probably like people go hiking solo, probably kind of that same disconnect feeling. Like I can't take a smartphone with me. You know what I mean? Like I can't. It's just absolutely unplugging, and then it's like active live meditation kind of.
Does anything else bring you that satisfaction in life?
Orgasms?
Okay, well, you heard it here first. Surfing's like sex.
Yeah.
This guy. Listen, you can never say he's not honest, okay?
I am 100%, dude, out here. It's not inside behind the chest plate. It's out here.
Maybe we'll fuck around and go viral. I went viral once on accident.
Really?
Yeah, it
Really?
was. I had Heather Hitchcock with Royalty Roofing on, and she's like, "So imagine this," and I just figured this out not too long ago, and I might be butchering the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of like, "My name's Heather, middle name's S, last name's Hitchcock." So I didn't realize that my friend pointed out to me that my name is Heather S. Hitchcock. So people are reading my name as Heather Shitcock. And yeah, I got like 1.3 million views and 60,000 likes or something, or 6,000. I don't know. It was my editor / social producer. Shout out Jen. She hit me up. I was at the where the fuck was I? I was in Dallas at I don't know. It was at a roofing event in like January, February. And she's like, "Oh, good news! We're going viral." I'm like, "Great! I've been stuck at this." There was an ice storm. There was an ice storm in Dallas. I go to California. It's fucking rain all week. I go to Dallas and there's a fucking ice storm. It literally was a continuous sheet of ice for like a mile. I'm like, this is insane. So we couldn't leave the venue. Like everything was shut down. I mean, it was ludicrous. I'm like, oh, well, at least we're going viral. What the
That's like Adam Sand, dude. Everywhere Adam Sand goes, there's like absolute crazy torrential weather. So, shout out to roofers if you ever get stuck in a drought, dude. Call Michael or Adam, book them to come out to you, and it'll drive some weather.
And listen, we're gonna do a profit share on any revenue that is accumulated from me manipulating Mother Nature for your gain. Just know that. And I'll send the contract over. We'll get it all situated, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
You need to get a shirt that says "I believe in chemtrails." I am chemtrails.
Yeah, I am chemtrails, dude. I don't know how that'd fly in New York.
It wouldn't fly anywhere, dude. Maybe in that like flat Earth community somewhere out there. I don't know where it is, but
I mean, I'm sure there's some flat earthers listening. And if you are listening, you're wrong. But thank you for listening. You know, I mean, it's great. It's great. So, what's next for you? Like, what's in your next stage of life? Like, what does that look like to you?
Next stage, honestly, just yesterday I spoke at the Roofr Rise show, and after I probably had like half a dozen people come up to me and say, "Hey, do you do business consulting?" And so, just like with the solar company, right? I don't just aimlessly go and start something for my needs. It's always the needs of others that create my interest in the helping. Because that's how I started solar, was basically because of my systems and processes, my automations, my photo drops, the way that I ran my roofing company. I would always partner up with solar companies. I would come in first, solar company would come in after. I would set the bar here. Customer would say, "Holy shit! Now you set the bar for every contractor now to be just absolute turds in my eyes because they will never operate the way that you operate." And so I was getting feedback from customers like, "Dude, you need to open a solar company because they came in right after you and they did not perform the way that you performed, right?" And so it was that recurring conversation that kept happening that caused me, forced me to start a solar company. And so now I'm starting to hear that like every speaking thing or podcast thing, I drop a couple golden nuggets on how I built my business, how I operate my business, and people are really into that. They're like, "Oh my God, will you teach me that?" Right? And so now I have a feeling that that's going to probably be next on the horizon as I turn 50. Maybe set up the company to 100% operate without me, or sell it, or figure out how to manage both, or one.
Oh, great! Another consultant.
Right, and that's my big fear, right? is like, oh shit, another guru, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, let's lay out these self-proclaimed gurus, and do they actually go back to installing into 92? You know what I mean? Have they owned a roofing company since 2001? Have they, you know what I mean? So but I really don't want that stigma, it's because I don't like it.
Dude, I wear my stigma as a scam marketer very proudly. All right,
Dude, I can imagine like what you've got to deal with.
Yeah,
Like
shout out to Dima.
Yeah.
Watching. Yeah. So, anywho, yeah, that got awkward, huh?
But there's our vocal people that are in our industry. I'm vocal against the hacks. You know what I mean? So if you're a hack and you're selling Oak Ridge.
We got mad kisses on the Mission Control podcast. I'm like, you get a kiss, you get a kiss.
Yeah, but it's passion. You know what I mean? Like I really admire the passion in what he's doing. You probably don't like it. You probably don't like guys like me that are gonna be, if you're gonna be self-proclaimed as self-made man, but then subcontract everything out, like, come on, dude. I'm gonna call you out on it. Like,
I like honestly, I love what he's doing. We don't service the same customer.
Right.
It's like the Walmart and Nordstrom's, right? Like there's a small percentage of contractors that are going to be willing to invest the time that it takes to properly do their SEO and to do it consistently.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And like I'll go back to the Google Drive example. Like, can I get 50 photos? Oh, I can't do that. But you're going to do SEO for 15 hours a month or 20 hours a month, or
And to be clear to the audience, like, right, if I was forced to do that now, in my time of my age, the time of my business, I'm worth more now at an hourly rate than I was back then, right? And time is money. You're going to pay for it, whether it's going to be monetary or sweat equity. Yep. But back then, I wasn't worth what I am now. And if I was forced to redo it now, I would probably learn about it, micromanage it, and outsource it, because I probably could be leveraging my time differently, more effectively, and create more economical volume based off of where I allocate my time, right? But dude, in 2008, I wasn't worth what I am now. You know what I mean? So I was able to do it.
Hey, can I borrow $20?
Yeah.
It's funny because like a lot of the times when if I'm doing, like, we do an initial consultation which people pay for, and then if they do business with us, like, great. We could do like an intro call where it's like 15 minutes with Mike. Ask me anything you want, and at the end of that 15 minutes, you might be like, "Fuck that guy, never want to talk to him again," or you might be like, "Hey, I want to work with him." And if you want to work with us, then you do a paid consult, and we credit that towards whatever you buy. And if you don't buy, you leave with tons of value. But one of the things I like to do in that exercise is like start like breaking down where you're spending your time and how much time you're spending where. What is your time worth? No, I don't mean like W-2 and what the IRS says or whatever you guys are filing. Like, what is your time worth? You $500 an hour, $250 an hour, whatever it is. Now let's do the math, and now let's compartmentalize. Like, what are things that you're doing that only you can do, and out of that time that we just figured out, how much is left over that you're doing that anybody can do, and what would it cost for them to do it, right? And now you figure out, like, a lot of people, that's where they have an epiphany, like, okay, I do need to fucking hire somebody to answer my phone and to do this, right? However, the latter half of that, to make this exercise effective, is like you have to take that additional time that you're now saving yourself and fucking do something meaningful with it, right?
Right.
Not sit in Facebook groups. And I'm not blasting anyone for being in Facebook. I'm in Facebook groups all the fucking time. It's okay. But like, especially early on, like, your time is crucial as far as how you, like, you're talking about building sweat equity into different things. It's like, dude, if you can leverage that time and have that grit and that hustle to take an extra, 9 hours a week and put it into something that, again, only you can do into your business, that shit will be massively benefit. Like, it'll be a massive benefit, like, next week, next month, next year, and so forth and so on. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's planting those seeds. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to just throw seeds out into some sand, your chances of that growing into something is horrible. And so it's smart farming, better than just. What do you think your chances are? You go out on the lake without a fish finder and just aimlessly cast into random places. You know what I mean? And so you gotta freaking work smart. Like, I promise you, the dude with the fish finder is catching more fish than the dude just going around in circles.
Going just fucking golden reel right off the cuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with that. I'm not an experienced fisherman, but I mean, it seems to check out. And if we tested it, I'm sure that would be the case. Because it turns out where there's more fish, there's more opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, a lot of golden nuggets today. I gotta tell you. I think we should. Huh?
That's marketing 101 right there. You know what I mean? Like, if you know your ideal fish, what you're fishing for, right? Like, if bass don't feed on corn, but trout feeds on corn, why the fuck are you fishing for bass with corn? You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic. What are you going to do on the consulting side? Like, if that's the next stage of life for Eric, are you going to kind of do them concurrently, like run the roofing and solar business, and while doing some consulting as you transition out of your active role in the companies, or is it something where you're gonna get it to nearly 100% hands off, and then you're going to like hard launch and offer consulting?
I think I'd want to do both. Like if I mean, dude, are you gonna go to marriage counseling to a single person who's never been married?
Yeah,
You know,
obviously.
right? I mean, like, so are you gonna get business consulting from a guy who doesn't own a business? Um, with that theory and that with that mindset, I would want to still own both my companies and do business consulting so that I can give real life experiences, real life. Look at this is what we're doing over here. I don't want to just come to your offices and dissect. Hell, I want to do that, but I also want you to come over here and see what we're doing. See if there's anything that you can take from what we're doing that may make sense for your market, right?
Sure.
Um, I don't know how many business consultants are actually offering that level of service or even run a business that is what they're consulting on. So if that's how I have to differentiate myself, like I'm at the grassroots of this. Like I've just been hearing a little bit of feedback from what people are wanting,
Yeah.
right? So it's going to be really diving in to the needs, if I could serve those needs, how I could differentiate myself, and that's probably one of the factors that I would consider as differentiating myself.
I like it. I like it. So, if somebody in the crowd wants to link up for some consulting, I mean, how do they inquire?
Eric at roofingspecialistsofsandiego.com. Not a Gmail, right? So I wouldn't technically go.
Gmails have more credibility. Everybody trusts Google.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine that I have.
Same. I'm fucking with you. Yeah. Get a domain-based email. That's
Yeah,
relevant to your company,
getting
please.
G Suites. Just grow up.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, you can reach out to me on Facebook. Hell, if you just Google roofing contractor in San Diego, I promise you'll find me.
oh, this fucking guy, huh? End on a flex. I love that shit. Man, I really want to thank you for coming by today. This has been dope. There will be a part 2. We'll foreshadow that as long as Eric agrees to it after this 50 minutes. But yeah, let's circle back on this. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate y'all in the audience. Y'all the best. Yeah.
Dude, we got to get you out here. We got to redeem your rainy California experience.
I mean, I'm with the shit, okay? I just got to figure out when. I mean, you're all the way across the country. But dude, yeah, we could do some content together. Maybe I'll fucking surf. If we do, I'll get like a GoPro. You guys can hear me.
Hell yeah.
Crying.
Dude, there's your next viral video right there, dude.
Man has a fucking manic breakdown on the beach. Yeah, rolling around like a chicken cutlet. Yeah, dude, great shit. Thank you to all y'all, and we gone.